what really started the whole thing for me was that I saw that Arizona was going down a path that is really anti-immigrant. And although they're saying, you know, the federal law allows for this to happen, and the Congress won't move, so we're forced to move, it's really just and I don't know if you know it or not, but Arizona has turned very conservative in the last 10 to 12 years. And in doing so, what they've done is they've moved the whole conversation away from compassion and what we can do to take, you know, to make sure that immigration law is upheld. Instead, what they've done is they've taken the worst part of any kind of immigration law and now have made it even worse by allowing police, and a lot of police are very much against this because it puts them in danger and it makes them then be the bad guys. So I think that Arizona has forced a wedge between the community and police officers. And that, you know, is just something I don't want to happen in Albuquerque.
Just that we're looking at a situation where real, actual families could be torn apart based on something like a parking ticket. I think Albuquerque is better than that. We're better than that. And we're looking to your leadership now during this time. There's been a lot of talk about the Mayor Barry's initiative, talking about making Albuquerque a place that criminals don't want to be. Well, I think we should make Albuquerque a place where racism doesn't want to be.
I feel like 88 and 89, especially the boycott, is very symbolic, and I think it's something that as a city we need to do. Los Angeles has done it, Oakland and San Francisco are considering it, and so I think in standing in solidarity, given that we have such a high Raza population in Albuquerque, it's a really good idea to pass a ban on the city doing official business. Obviously, you can't stop individuals from doing business in Arizona, but the city dollars, taxpayer dollars going to Arizona and putting a boycott on that, I think is a really good idea and a show of solidarity. As far as 89 goes, I think that what's really important is that our city council stays on top of our law enforcement as a check and balance to make sure that they're not taking on the responsibility of immigration, you know, officers. It isn't APD's job.
I'm not from an organization. I'm not even very political. I own 4 businesses in Albuquerque, and I think the last time I protested something was the Vietnam War. I have my opinions, but I don't usually do anything about them until recently. I'm a student of history, and one of the mysteries that I always wondered about when I read history was in 1933, the beginning of the Nuremberg laws in Berlin and across Germany. Why didn't people say something? Why didn't people do something? Why did they just sit around and allow this to happen to this group of people? And in the last few weeks, I've thought a lot about that because it's not okay to stand by.
This is really dangerous. The mayor and the right-wing fascist forces have already achieved a lot of their goal, whether they get this resolution passed or not, but to polarize the population and to scapegoat certain sectors of the community, to pit people against each other. And that's what they were doing. Some of those guys that came up and speaking early on in the meeting very clearly showed that kind of thing. I mean, they're very irrational, and they're just looking for targets of their anger.
And I've just been teaching and living. I really like it here in Albuquerque, and I didn't know a lot about your city when I came here, but it's great. You know, I really like the people. You know, the land is beautiful and the people are beautiful, and it's great here. And I really support these 2 resolutions from Garduno and Sanchez. This Arizona is wrong. That law is racist. You know it. And it's singling out brown people, it's singling out Spanish accent, the language, and it's nothing good. There's nothing good about it. Boycotts have been used throughout history for reasons when cities and individuals, countries are.
I came here from Florida, and I'm a son of immigrants, and I was really proud today of the kinds of speeches we were hearing from all the different people of Albuquerque. It really fills me with pride. And one of the things I do with Media Literacy Project is we monitor the media, and we try to create consciousness around the media. And a lot of what the media is doing nowadays is continuing that rhetoric of scapegoating immigrants, Latino communities, especially youth. And we're the ones that have to deal with these crazy laws because of the normalization of that rhetoric. And we don't want that anymore, and I think we're seeing that here, like we're seeing it expressed, everybody understanding it now, and Arizona's really brought this to light. And I'm glad that our counselors are actually going to go ahead with this resolution, because I think it's gonna continue to put Albuquerque, you know, in that leadership that Latinos need to see right now all over the country. So Latinos and all immigrants from all over the world. So we need to back up the counselors.